Before there was an Atlanta, there was Decatur. And before there was a Fulton County, there was DeKalb County, the historic cornerstone of what we know today as Greater Metropolitan Atlanta. A blending of antebellum grace, charm, and tradition, with a contemporary hipness and free-spirited playfulness found only in America's more popular tourist destinations. DeKalb County, Georgia is not only the ideal base for an extended Atlanta visit, but a family vacation destination in its own right. Blanketing a 269 square mile area, a scant 6 miles east of the center of downtown Atlanta, DeKalb County bristles with things to do and places to see.
DeKalb is recognized as the most diverse county in the Southeast. We have a number of different things to do, a number of different cultures that are represented here in DeKalb. The world actually lives here, so it makes it a great place for the world to visit. In addition to that, we are just a few miles away from downtown Atlanta. In addition to that, a few miles from one of the greatest outdoor attractions in the world, Stone Mountain Park. So there are a lot of different things to do to meet the different needs, from leisure travelers to business travelers. It meets everybody's needs.
Foremost on its tourist attraction resume is Stone Mountain Park, the #1 tourist draw in Georgia and among the top visitor destinations in the country. It attracts a whopping 4 million visitors each year. Its eclectic mix of activities, outdoor recreation, and historical recreations promises something for everyone in the family.
Stone Mountain Park is Georgia's #1 attraction. It has over 3,200 acres of natural beauty, recreation, and park attractions. We have over 12 attractions throughout the park. We have everything from the Treehouse Challenge, which is a great boys against girls kind of activity with dueling tree houses. We also have the first 4D theater in the state of Georgia called Tall Tales of the South, which has a grandfather that basically teaches the art of storytelling or spinning a tall tale. We have the Scenic Railroad, which is a 5-mile journey around Stone Mountain with a live show. We also have our riverboat, the Scarlett O'Hara, which takes you out on Stone Mountain Lake and you learn a little bit more about the history of the park. Our #1 attraction is the Skylift, called the Summit Sky Ride, which takes our guests on a 3-minute ride up 825 feet in the air to the top of Stone Mountain. From the top of the mountain, on a clear day, you have fantastic views of the skyline of Atlanta. You can also see the North Georgia mountains.
The park's centerpiece, though, is its monumental sculpture, the largest relief sculpture in the world, covering nearly 3 acres on the face of the largest exposed piece of granite on Earth. Its depiction of Confederate President Jefferson Davis, Generals Robert E. Lee, and Thomas Stonewall Jackson is actually larger than Mount Rushmore. Begun in 1912, it took 60 years to complete. During the summer season, it's the site of a dazzling nightly laser show. But nearly 150 years ago, there was a light show of a very different kind in this area. Most people familiar with the Battle of Atlanta only know it from watching the 1939 film Gone with the Wind. In fact, much of the battle raged along what is today's DeKalb Avenue, just north of I-20. A result of the fierce fighting, most of the pre-war buildings in DeKalb County were destroyed, but not all. Adair Park in Decatur is home to 3 structures that were spared. Among them is the Swanton House. Built in 1825, only 3 years after DeKalb County was incorporated, it is the county's oldest building. Named for Revolutionary War hero Johann DeKalb, DeKalb County predates Atlanta's Fulton County by 31 years. And some say Atlanta has Decatur, DeKalb's county seat, to thank for its evolution into a transportation crossroads, and eventually one of America's largest and most progressive cities.
The story that people love to tell is that the city of Decatur turned down the railroad because they thought it would bring pollution, lots of whiskey, and bad women. And so the city forefathers said, we won't have the railroad here. Great story, not entirely true. The reality is that the engineers of the railroad got out and determined where the railroad line ought to go and where it ought to terminate, where the north, south, and east-west line should end. And they drove a stake in the ground 8 miles west of Decatur and said this is where the railroad will terminate. Thus became the little city, the little community of Terminus, which we now know to be Atlanta.
Today, Decatur continues to resist the lure and press of urban sprawl. It seriously goes about the business of preserving its small-town roots, but manages to do so while attracting economic growth. Built in 1898 and remaining the focal point of its downtown, the courthouse on the square is complemented by much more recently built structures. Decatur is also home to DeKalb County's Farmers Market. Forget what you think you know about farmers markets. This one is an international affair spreading across 140,000 square feet. Open 7 days a week, it offers tough-to-find food products from around the world, as well as meats, poultry, fish, and traditional produce. As a commerce and cultural center, Atlanta has a reputation as a melting pot of ethnic backgrounds, nationalities, and color. DeKalb County, however, with its tremendous diversity, contributes heavily to the area's reputation for ethnic diversification. In fact, it is considered Georgia's most diverse county. More than 30 languages are spoken among its 18,000 residents, reflecting a wealth of cultural variation. If walking and gawking is your speed, Chombley's Antique Row is just the ticket. More than 200 dealers have shops tucked away in homes, churches, and stores here, many of which date back to the mid-1800s. Or take a stroll through East Atlanta Village. Its quaint shops, boutiques, and eateries can easily occupy a lazy afternoon. If working out your brain is as important as exercising your legs, the Fernbank Museum of Natural History brings the past to life. Captivating old and young alike are a series of permanent and visiting exhibits, like the replicas of the world's largest dinosaur bones, unique to Fernbank, that tower over visitors. Or a trek through the Okefenokee Swamp at Dusk exhibit that'll have you convinced you're really there. Still in discovery mode? Head over to Emory University and the Michael C. Carlos Museum, the largest repository for ancient art in the Southeast. It's packed with more than 16,000 objects, ranging from 9,000-year-old idols to contemporary photographs. A constant rotation of some of the exhibits means there's always something new to see. Offering nearly 100 motels and hotels and a spectacular array of restaurants to meet any taste and budget, DeKalb County is the ideal place to call home for a weekend, a week, or longer. And while there's no way you can get bored with its world-class attractions, Atlanta is right at its doorstep. It's easy to see why the locals say, in and around Atlanta, it's definitely DeKalb County.